for another community spotlight. I am Tracy Dial from NWPB, joined today by Staci Lehman from the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, Communications Manager based in Spokane. Staci, how are you today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Staci, thank you so much for coming on. I know the Department of Fish and Wildlife recently put out a PSA trying to get the word out. There was a change this spring having to do with feeding wild animals. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So because of where we live, many of us enjoy the wildlife that are around us. I mean, even just being in Spokane, our neighborhoods even have a lot of wildlife. You can sometimes look out your window and see deer and moose, which is really cool. However, feeding them is causing some problems. And we had confirmed we detected chronic wasting disease in the state in 2024. It's been almost a year now. And the change, we did implement a feeding ban statewide on deer, elk, and moose, and that is to help prevent the spread of chronic wasting disease.
So, how exactly does that attribute to spreading the disease?
Yeah, that's a great question. So just like you and I can spread diseases to each other, or common cold, the flu, whatever, just by being close to each other, you sneeze, I inhale, anything like that. With animals, chronic wasting disease is spread between deer, elk, and moose it can come through the environment. So like dirt that has prions in it that cause CWD. It can be caused by touching feces or urine. So kind of the same ways that you and I would pass disease among ourselves. So when there is artificial feeding, it draws animals together. A bunch of them come in contact, and then they will eat, disperse, move to the next site, meet more animals, disperse, and keep passing it along. So we do ask people not to feed because there's less chance that animals are going to congregate if there is not an artificial food source.
All right, that makes sense. So how is the department keeping an eye on this, and what sort of repercussions would there be should people be feeding these animals?
Yeah, this first year, we're really concentrating on education.
Mm-hmm.
We know that people really love to see their wildlife, and we love that. We do too. That's why we work where we do. So we're not going to knock on people's doors and write them a ticket, anything like that. We will, try to educate people on why this is bad. If you really care about the animals, the best thing you can do to help them is not feed them. So we want to get that point across to people.
All right, and how can other folks help spread the word for you guys?
Yeah, so we know a lot of people, we get a lot of calls saying, hey, my neighbor is feeding deer or turkeys or whatever. And turkey's not illegal to feed, squirrel's not illegal to feed. But if it draws in deer, elk, anything else, then it is now banned. So we ask people to just let your neighbors know. What we're finding is the word's, starting to spread, but it's taking some time. So a lot of people aren't familiar yet with this new rule. Best way they could help us is just to notify their neighbors and educate them.
All right, and the Department of Fish and Wildlife does have a lot of information on this. How can people find out more of that information?
Yeah, we have a lot of chronic wasting disease information on our website. People can go to wdfw.wa.gov/CWD. There's also information on feeding wildlife in general. You could just Google it at any time because in addition to it spreading disease, wildlife feeding causes a lot of other problems as well. It draws animals together where they can be habituated by humans. It draws them together where they can become victims of predators or be hit by cars. So there's a lot of repercussions for the animals. While people think that they're really helping and doing something good, it is more harmful for the most part. So we just encourage people to go to our website and read up on the topic.
Well, Staci, thank you so much for this information and spreading the word. So don't feed the ducks, don't feed the deer, don't feed the elk, don't feed the moose.
Correct. Don't feed the turkeys.
Don't feed the turkeys. Okay. Well, Staci, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.